What's up, you guys? It is Ali, your eccentric nomad. I am going to attempt to record this video. I'm at this kind of cool coffee shop. It's cool in that it is special in a special way. Check out my IG stories if you follow me on social media to see where I'm at. But anyway, you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's cool to chat with you guys today, and I'm going to be sharing a very important tidbit of information. Y'all know I'm in Vietnam right now, and all right. So y'all know I talk about entry requirements, visas, COVID restrictions, because some places still have them. But Vietnam, y'all know I love Southeast Asia, and so I'm kind of doing a Southeast Asia tour to check out different cities and countries. I'm actually doing a comparison to Thailand. But I really do like it here in Vietnam. It's very comfortable. I'll share more of that in another video. But I want to talk about an important thing, which ties into one of the videos I did before with about how long do I decide to stay in a location, and visa was one of the top things. Right now, Vietnam is only offering a 30-day visa. And what does that mean? That is a 30-day visa without an extension. That means that you have to actually leave the country, get a new visa, get approval, get re-stamped, and then come back in. So I'm going to give you guys kind of the brief of what I decided to do for my first visa run. I've been here since February, so I had to do my first visa run in the middle of March a couple weeks ago. And there's a couple different options that you guys can use to accomplish visa runs in a place that allows you to border hop, right? Even before COVID, Vietnam had a 90-day visa. Well, they have not reinstated that 90-day visa, and we are, fingers crossed, hoping that they do, because it's actually a really cool country. I like it so far. Okay, so I would like to sit and chill and engulf myself in the culture. Come on, Vietnamese government, help us tourists out here that want to stay in your beloved country. So this is strictly going to be about the tourist visa. It impacts a lot of different costs, whether or not you get a long-term apartment, whether or not you do short-term like Airbnbs, whether or not you hop around, do whatever. I'm going to tell you some of the options that you have for doing your border hops, right? So you can fly to a neighboring country. Or let's say you're going to fly to these places. So you got Philippines, you got Malaysia, you got Indonesia, Singapore, Cambodia, Thailand. And of those, like the cheapest to fly to right now is Malaysia and Thailand. One thing I will say about taking a flight is there are instances where you can jump on a flight in the morning, an hour, 2-hour flight to Malaysia or Thailand, round trip for around the same cost. Malaysia, we don't need a visa. Thailand, we can enter without a visa. And so you're literally just paying for the flight and your visa for Vietnam. So those are a couple things to keep in mind, right? So you can do that. You can do the land border run, which is what I did, and I'm going to be sharing that in this video. And then you can leave and simply just go somewhere else, right? Basically, I decided to stay in Vietnam longer. So I was like, let me check out what the land border run service is like. And so there's multiple ways that you can even do that, right? So the land border runs, you can do on your own, or you can do through a service. You can take one of the local or city buses and take that drive, and it's like a fraction of the cost, and cross the border yourself, go through the immigration process and come back, and you can come back in the same day. Or you can sign up for a visa border run service, and the one that I ended up using is called Lens Visa, and it is a perfectly legal system that they allow, because the government allows you to go to a bordering country, get a stamp, and come back literally within minutes. The reason why choosing a service may be more appropriate and easier for you guys is it literally takes all the guesswork, all the questioning, all the everything out of it, but it is a little bit more expensive. So you can actually see if it's something that is worth it for you. And I'll tell you right out the gate that run ended up being about 92 USD. And then, which includes I did the limousine bus. So That includes the limousine bus ride there and back, the service that they provide. The nice thing is on the limousine bus, so you are not cramped. It's 2 seats on one side, 1 on the other. So if you get on early enough and you're by yourself, you can get a single seat if you so wish. It's a nice, comfortable ride. So literally, I think I slept the first half because we leave at 6 a.m. in the morning. And so, you know, a lot of folks want a little shut-eye. It's air-conditioned bus. They do say they have Wi-Fi, but get your own data because the Wi-Fi is very scarce, especially when you're going through certain parts of the country as you're driving to Laos. So if you want a simple, seamless, kind of tour style package service, Lynn's Visa, I can totally vouch for it. So I'm going to just run through what that all entails. And one of the important things about any visa run that you're going to do here in Vietnam, you are required to, if you're going to do an e-visa, so let me go back, like rewind on the tape, because you need to go on the site to see, based on your originating passport, so they tell you what type of visas you can apply for. So I'm going to speak on U.S. citizens. So not U.S. citizens, U.S. passport holders. So if you are using your U.S. passport to travel and pass through and border hop and all that, we can get an e-visa, which what that means is we can apply for the visa in advance. Let me tell you the caveat with this. We can apply for the visa in advance and have the approval letter. That means when we go through, it's just a stamp. And that's what I did when I first came. You have to pay attention to the stamp. Make sure you can read the actual date that they write in, because that date is the date that you have to be gone. So you might think you're getting a 30-day, but just check and make sure they didn't give you 15 or 20 or something like that. Just make sure you know the date so that your exit is at least that day. I usually recommend maybe leaving a day before. Okay, well, that is $25. Normally, if you are needing to expedite it, which is what I did, I think I talked about that in one of my previous videos when I left Costa Rica and came to Vietnam. I had to expedite, so I paid a little bit of a penny for it. So just do it far enough in advance. Like right now, I have my visa through May, or I have my approval letter through May. I can actually apply now for June. Now I'm going to tell you the caveat about applying. This is like one of the tricky things about the Vietnam visa process is you have to be very explicit with which border you're leaving from and which border you're entering. If you by chance change your entry and exit, you have to apply for a whole new visa. And if you're kind of a nomad or like myself and you're kind of exploring and hopping around, you want a little bit of that freedom. So doing the e-visa kind of takes some of that freedom away, because you literally have to do. So this next time I applied for 2 visas, because the first one I did the Laos visa border run. And after doing the first one, there was one little caveat thing that I don't really care for, that I will share with you in a little bit. But that's part of the reason why I'm not going to do that run again. And so I basically had to apply for another visa. Information with you, if you decide that you want to do the service, is reach out to Lynn, ask if there's space available for the day that you want to go. She's going to ask you when your visa expires. You're going to tell her the date that's on the visa expiration, and you're going to pick the day of, if there is a bus going, or a day before or 2 days before. She really tries to work it out so that you don't lose any days, but she can't change the date on your visa, okay? So you might end up losing a day or 2, but then you can kind of plan appropriately so that doesn't happen in the upcoming months, all right? Once you find out if the seats are available, then you can ask Lynn to hold a seat for you. You don't have to pay for anything up front at that point in time, which is really nice, unless it's like right before, a day or so before you're getting ready to go on the border run. And she will explain all of that. And then she sends a PDF link that just literally outlines all of the steps that you're going to need. One of the things that she does is asks you if you are an e-visa or if you are a visa on arrival. If you are e-visa, she's going to ask you for your visa approval letter so that she can read it and make sure it's accurate, because the entry and exit have to say Lao Bao entry and exit point. If it does not, that e-visa letter is not valid. It's no good. And what she doesn't want is take people on this 6-hour one-way trip, 6-hour one-way back, for you to get there and not be approved. not get your visa stamp. Okay, when to apply for your visa: minimum of 7 days in advance. So it normally takes about 3 days, 3 business days, that's Monday through Friday, to get your visa back once you apply for it. And services that charge about $50, when in actuality the visa itself is $25 with no extra fees. Okay, once you've gotten your approval letter back, you can send that to Lynn and she'll confirm everything is good for you. At that point, you can confirm your seat on the limo for the date that you requested, and you can still hold off on paying. Just basically make the arrangements with Lynn on when you're going to pay. She has 3 ways of paying. She has like multiple bank options that you can send to. She has PayPal, and you can pay cash. All right, quick tidbit about the bus, because once you get all of that information, then it's just waiting until your actual border run day, right? And so just get prepared. How do you prepare? You can take a bag with you, take some books to read. We have our online, do your Audible and stuff like that. Work on some things if you need to. It's up to you. It's a very safe and secure bus. You're pretty much on the bus the entire time, except when you actually walk across the border. So it's safe and it's secure. I suggest bringing a jacket and maybe wearing longer pants, because when the air conditioning is on, it is a little bit chillier on the bus. Bring some bug spray too. Just bring some bug spray, like mosquito spray, not Raid. Some skin repellent. And the Wi-Fi, at least on the bus I was on, was a little sketchy, so make sure you have data if you're gonna need data. And download your videos, download your books, and you can download languages and practice languages for 12 hours. Y'all, you utilize your time, or you can go to sleep. Like the majority of the people on my bus, I think, were asleep. It was a dude behind me snoring. So just FYI, bring you some earplugs too. You're going to arrive at the location of Lynn's office before 6 a.m. The bus, literally, they pull up like right before 6. Everybody boards, and within 10 minutes you are off and on your way to Laos. Okay, the bus, y'all might be like, oh my god, 6 hours. I mean, do we stop, do we this and that? Those are the things I did not know, so I'm gonna share that in the video because it wasn't really spelled out. About every hour you're gonna stop at a rest stop and have an opportunity to grab something to drink. People who smoke can smoke. You need to use the restroom, you can use the restroom. Just walk around, shake your legs, check your tail feather, whatever you need to do. Literally every hour. So we literally take about a 15-minute break. So that's what adds in some of the time. Additionally, the stop about 20 minutes before we get to the border is when we have lunch. So she takes you to a spot, and it's a local Vietnamese authentic dining spot. And you basically get a plate of rice, but they literally had every type of meat. If I ate meat, my plate would have been full. I would have had like a little bit of everything on there. So they have tons of options, super cheap. I mean, it's like 30,000. That's like $1.50. Then you pay for any drink that you have. They normally bring you, I think, like a bowl of broth after everybody finishes eating. We're there probably 15, 20 minutes, 20 minutes probably. So everybody can eat. And then we load back on the bus, and we are at the border. So you stop at the border. They ask you, everybody get your passports out. You can leave everything else on the bus. Take your passport. I mean, you take your wallet and things like that with you. But you're at that point going to get off and walk through. And as you're walking, the team, Lynn's team, is going to come and take your passport. Oh, let me tell you this. So when you're on the bus, when you first board the bus, they walk through with a sheet of paper and have you check your name. And it'll show if you've paid or if you still owe something. They also put a sticker on your passport to indicate if you are an e-visa or a visa on arrival. And so that makes their process easier. So like once you go through it, you actually see how well oiled this machine is. So before you even get there, they know how many people need an e-visa, how many people are doing a visa on arrival, which is a different process. Okay, so this is one of the things that I didn't realize that they do. And you know, when you're walking through, one of the team takes all the passports and they take them in front of you. You have to walk through because you're the person getting stamped. I don't know why we can't just stay on the bus and just let them do it, because they don't see our face, right? But you go all the way through. Someone has already taken your passport. They go into the first step, and then basically they stamp your exit. So you have to stamp an exit from Vietnam. Then you get your passport back at that point and you walk it across the border. When you go across the border, you pass a couple checkpoint kind of things, and they just look at your passport, make sure it's been stamped, make sure that you're with a group, because you could just be a person walking in and they just, assume, oh, you're with the, one of Lynn's groups or whatever, and just let you pass. No, they check all the passports as you're going through. You go all the way through, and I'll show this in the video as well, and then you go to the actual immigration on the Laos side. Once you get there, Lynn is actually standing there. She takes your passport, if you're an e-visa or a visa on arrival, and you need to have either a picture available, a passport size picture already taken, or the $50,000 in cash, which you've already likely paid. Standing there, I think I was standing there maybe 6 or 7 minutes. She called my name. My passport was stamped. My passport was stamped with the In and Out Laos stamp, and they put a visa inside my passport. All right, y'all. So this is what surprised me, and I'll show you a picture of it. We paid $45 for the visa. It's a one-time single-use visa. So you're paying $45 to go across the border, get a stamp, and come back. And that's okay, because you decided to do that. But I'm going to tell you something. They put a sticker in your passport that takes up an entire page of your passport. So what does that mean if you want to stay 6 months or something? That means that you have to dedicate minimum 6 pages plus the stamp to leave Vietnam, 2 stamps for Laos, plus a stamp for re-entry. So that's 4 stamps plus a whole page every time you do this border run, as long as it's 30 days. That is the reason why I decided on this next run, I would simply just fly to another country. Yes, it's more expensive for me to fly, but I get an opportunity to explore, because I just was struggling with a whole page in my passport, and I don't get to explore the city, the country. Because if you've got limited pages, or you're trying to plan to be out of whatever country, let's just say the US, for so many years even, and you are utilizing your passport page stamps like that, that could have a detrimental effect on you if you're not planning on going back to States anytime soon. So that's important, just important thing to know, you guys. You get your stamp, they give you the visa literally inside your passport. Other country that does that, you have a 10-year visa, not this one-time use visa, which means that even within this month, I can't go back to Laos and use that visa. I'd have to get a whole nother $45 visa. So those are the things that I'm just like, oh, I wish they changed that, or allow you to apply at least for a multi-entry. So if you want to go back at any time, you can do that. Can you go over and just stay over on that side and stay for a couple of days and come back? Absolutely. It'll be a question that I'll have separate to see if Lynn's team allows you to do that, and then come back on another bus with her when she's returning. Okay. And then so when you come back over, then you have to come back you cross back over the border, you're back on the Vietnam side, you're in Vietnam immigration, you give your passport to one of Lynn's team. Again, you don't even go to the booth, you don't ever have to stand in front of anybody, talk to anybody, do whatever. You pass a little checkpoint, they check you. I think I passed 2, they look at your passport as you're coming back through, but you give it to one of Lynn's team, he takes it over, they check it and everything, confirm that you're one of the people that's already paid. So Lynn must have a list. They look at the list, see your name, they stamp you. Once they stamp you, you're done. Now you go back through and wait for the rest of the people to come through. There's a cool coffee shop on the Vietnam side. Everybody sits and waits there. The bus is sitting and waiting for you. Once everybody is done, they load the bus and you head back home. Another 5 hours and you are back home. And you can do that process every single month if you want to. I love the process. I'm going to show you guys the video so you can get an idea. Let you see how they apply your visa so that you are informed in the event that you choose to do it. So it's a super easy thing. But if you have any questions, let me know. and maybe we'll set up a live or a different type of session for us to do a Q&A. All right, y'all, so I hope that was helpful. Check out this video to see the walkthrough. It's not really great because, like, in some places you're not supposed to have your phone out, right? So I'm just showing you how quick the process is. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button, that like button. Please leave me a comment. Let me know that you saw this video, whether it was helpful or not. Click that notification bell, you guys. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all know the drill. Toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grease. All right, you guys. I'm up at the crack of dawn and going on my visa run. So let the day begin. It's 5:30. See y'all. Little rest stop area. We're really close to the border now. So basically this is a stop for lunch, and you basically get a plate of rice and your pickings of toppings that you want on the rice. They only had one veggie only. They did have a tofu something, but I didn't want any tofu today. So it cost me 20,000, which is less than $1. It was sufficient. So after you walk through the Lao side, you walk back over to the Vietnam side, and then you get your new Vietnam visa. So you basically get an exit visa from Vietnam, walk over to the Lao side, get entry and exit visa, and then walk back into Vietnam and get your entry visa for Vietnam. So you come back, the bus is waiting there. I'll grab some coffee. I'm actually use the restroom. So I did a passport run and I got a matcha freeze. Alright, so visa run is done. Now I'm walking back to my apartment area, get my steps in, but it's been a field day. Go for another month.